Is it December 6th, 2015. But I don't know. I just want to make sure that people know, in case something happens, that I feel weird. I feel weird and off, and I don't know. I don't know.
Hi, I'm Margot. I live in Kimberley, BC. I'm originally from Calgary, and I live with my partner Jen and our 4 fur babies, Lips, Charlie, Mr. Diggs, and we now have adopted another cat from my mom. We met in Vancouver, actually. I was going to film school. I hadn't started film school, but she got invited to a friend of hers' wedding, and I was invited to the dinner before the wedding, and we actually met in Vancouver when we were both from 2 completely different cities. And she'll say that I walked into the bar and she went, "I want that one."
We had a winter in Prince George, and then as we were coming upon the next winter, she said, "Yeah, I don't want to live here anymore." We started looking for a house, and I wasn't sure if we were going to find one, and then the day we found one, I was like, yeah, we're moving. Well, it wasn't anything like what I thought it was going to be. We were doing errands, but we decided to split them up. So I think we started out, I can't remember where we went first, but we went somewhere together to pick up some things to help us with the move. And then she dropped me off at the dentist. But I remember coming out and signing everything and then walking out the door. And I looked around and I'm like, Margot's not here.
One person has been taken to hospital after a 3-vehicle crash over the lunch hour. 2 pickup trucks and a car were involved in the crash this afternoon at the intersection of Highway 16 and Ferry Road. The police investigation revealed the driver of the car was trying to turn left off the highway when the light turned yellow. That's when the driver of one truck sped through the light and broadsided the car, which then careened into another truck. A woman in the car was taken to hospital with injuries to her back or neck, while the driver of the pickup truck was issued a ticket for trying to speed through the intersection.
The truck hit, my brain hit the side of my head and then spun, and then I got hit again, so the brain hit twice, which chances are things would have been sort of relatively half decently normal. It felt like kind of like a weird unwinding and then a winding up, and everything just started coming back really fast, and then I hit the other truck, which this is how I explain it. How it felt to me is I came back into my body, and then I hit the other truck and went, "Oop," and then I just kind of sat outside my body. Like I was watching myself from that point on. Then the ambulance was a bit weird, because that's what I was telling you. They were like asking me questions. Couldn't understand it, but I was responding accordingly. And I just remembered
What's your name?
the thing was spinning.
You know what day it is?
Immediately at the time of concussion, often the main symptoms are physical. So you'll have headache, you may have vomiting or at least nausea, dizziness, balance problems. Those are probably the most common complaints when somebody comes to a physician or goes to the emergency department or sees their athletic trainer. As time passes, more often you start to hear about cognitive symptoms, so complaints about not being able to think straight, sort of being in a fog, and often complaints too about memory, like they just can't hold things in their memory and have trouble remembering recent events, things that have happened. And then with even further time, for some people, they begin to have emotional symptoms, sometimes sadness, depression, anxiety will tend to occur.
For the next 6 months, I felt pretty much just like a zombie. I was in a fog. I was not really comprehending what I was doing. I was just sort of there, moving around.
Margot was a shell of herself. All I know is how I felt, which was worried about making noise, and I was worried about annoying her or frustrating her or making her angry. I felt like I was walking on eggshells. I tried to let Margot be, and if she wanted to come to me, then that would be great, but I wasn't going to force my presence upon her, I tried to make sure that people around us understood that as well, like my parents, for example.
About that time now, yeah. You gotta look at 2 ways there. Since the accident, yes, it's some days it's tough, and some days, well, for weeks we don't see them sometimes, and it's kind of upsetting, but
I just wish they were more in the family. Like
it's
the
tough.
the nephews and nieces, they don't know their aunties very well. The sisters don't see their sister very much.
But it's
Kind of a sad.
Did you find your earplugs? Are you relaxed? Atlee, are you 3? I wanted her to be able to explore the views, the most beautiful views of anywhere that I've ever been, although I haven't been that many places, but in my opinion, it's just gorgeous here. And so the only place that we've been able to go together is here, the Marysville Bench. That's where the deer are. That's the ball field that I played on when I was a kid. The elementary school is just over there. You can see the golf course in front of us. That elementary school's there. That used to be all forest behind, but now it's golf course. It's really disappointing. Yeah, it's really disappointing. And I've had to adjust. I certainly was used to doing everything with her, and now I can't. So I have to either do it by myself or find people to do it with. Come on, Charlie.
Today I'm nauseous and lightheaded and not spinny per se, but things move in my vision. They make me feel kind of off. I'm not attached to my head, or my head's not attached to my body. Very floaty, headache. Yeah, you name it. It's just disgusting. It's like, and some days you can't even explain what's wrong. You just feel off. I just feel off. There's a lot of physical symptoms that I experienced, way too many to even list. The tinnitus and hearing sensitivity, I would say, is pretty intense. It's probably the worst one. And it's actually so bad that I have to wear hearing aids to do the dishes, because even doing dishes is too loud, and sometimes even running water is too loud. So all of those things combined can make a simple trip to the grocery store overwhelming. You know, that the sounds are just muffled and chaotic and everything just really loud. Even just a quick 2 minutes in a store is enough to knock you down for a couple days. Pre-accident, everything was just starting to kind of go where I wanted it to, and I was living a life that was active and really free and fun and exciting and exhilarating. And I didn't realize that until the accident had happened. And then I realized I was doing things that other people said, oh my God, I wish I could do that every day. It's all about getting back to work. They just want you to be out picking rocks or potatoes or something, as long as you're contributing. But a lot of us can't do that because of consistency, and that's the frustrating part for me. Is every single day is a roulette wheel that I spin, or the universe spins for me, and we find out within the first hour or two how it's going to be. Jen and a friend of ours just went to a hockey tournament in Alberta, and I was hoping that I could go. Today I feel pretty. The worst thing is feeling hungover when you haven't even had a drink. I know that Jen wants me to go, and I mean, it would have been silly. I think they have games from 7 or 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. I mean, I miss hockey already. The last thing I want to do is sit in an arena for 12 hours and watch everybody else play hockey. Anyway. Sometimes it feels maybe I just have to cry for an hour. That I'm just a disappointment. And it's tough when you want to do things and, you know, your partner, who's, you know, supposed to love you, looks at you like you just don't want to go. Or, you know, she looks at me like I'm disappointment to her because I don't want to go. And it has nothing to do with not wanting to go. I feel like
I can tell you how I felt, and that is, I'll be sitting here, and she'll be very frustrated with something I've done, not intentionally, obviously. I'm not trying to upset her. And I am kind of at the end where I don't know how I can fix that. Like, I've had a couple of moments where I wondered if we can make it, where I've been really struggling with my frustrations and feeling like maybe it's better if I'm not around. I don't, like, I want to be with her. I want to be together, and I will do anything that's in my power, of course, to make sure that that can happen. But certainly, like, you know, if it impacts her recovery, then I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. This is tough, but the only thing I can think of is I recall sitting in the living room upstairs while Margot was downstairs. And I can't remember when it was, unfortunately, but I'm like, I feel like I need to cry, but I can't cry because I feel like I need to hold myself together, right, for all of this. And I think I came home from work soon after that, and I don't know if we had a fight. I feel like we had an argument, and she finally just said, you know, like, well, you know, if I had a gun, I'd just off myself. At that point, it was clear to me that this was huge. So, and I was still thinking that she was going to still be Margot and go back to her old self, but that was the point where I realized that that was not going to happen.
Hello?
Made it for you. Do you remember Grandma's 90th birthday out at Fish Creek?
Mm-hmm.
I said, you haven't changed in looks one bit. You look the same. I think you still have that hat somewhere.
Probably.
But you've definitely changed personality, and in different ways you've gotten much more serious, much more little harder to get along with. But no, the changes were quite different compared to what you used to be. You used to joke around about everything all the time, but I don't hear you joking around that as much anymore. And I think I have trouble getting used to the idea that you're not the same person as you used to be.
You know, it's like you have these days where I realize that I am a burden to everybody. I'm a burden to not only everyone I know, but to myself. And I'm causing financial strain for people. There are days when I don't want to live anymore. I can't do this anymore. I can't wake up and be dizzy. I don't want to be lightheaded all day. And I know that it comes and goes, but it's when it's constant, and I don't want it. And I don't want the burden, and I don't want to be a burden, and I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be a 40-year-old dependent. Like, my God, it's humiliating, and I guess that's more, it's humiliating. Today's kind of one of those days where
And I still have them, and I know that people are so surprised when I say I have these days where I don't want to live anymore. But I keep going. Just keep breathing. When you go through something like this, this traumatic experience, it can actually trap itself in your body, and it can just manifest as all these physical sensations. And it's, for me, the biggest one was fear.
Just take an initial scan of your body. Are there any particular sensations that you're aware of?
It was almost like a memory of the fear that was accumulating, but I had nowhere for it to go.
If you just want to try an experiment, you could try feeling yourself as the fear. And what happened there when you did that?
Finally got to a place where I was able to kind of let that go. It was palpable, or you could just feel this fear that was just trapped. It was trying to release, and it took a lot of counseling and a lot of meditation and iris to help me process that and help me release that.
I feel like Margot did all of this work herself, honestly, and that helped me move forward because I was watching her take all of these steps, and she has actively pursued everything possible, I believe. I can't even think of another thing to try, right? So that for me has been really positive, and if she hadn't have, I think that we might not be together. Before the accident, well, I think that the main connection that we had was through hockey, and it's something that we both enjoy, we both love, and I love playing with you. I don't know if you love playing with me. Certainly you're much more skilled than I am.
This is a good day. I don't say old Margot, I say the new and improved me is slowly surfacing, and it's for longer periods of time. And it's my sense of humor, which actually I had lost for a very long time. Only recently have I started feeling joy again and laughing, and I heard myself laugh the other day, and actually I cried. I cried because I laughed. And I had missed laughing. And I guess you don't realize that you miss it.
So when I look back, what I see is how lucky I've been to even have met this person, and how everything had to sort of align for that to happen. And to be able to say that we are still together, and we still, I think, like each other enough to forge the path we're on together. I think that's the most important thing.